welcome to our series, The Small Corner of the Foreign Field. I'm Paul Bavell from the Foreign Field Living History Group, and this is a series about showing you some of the things that we would have been showing people throughout the 2020 season had it not been cancelled out from under us. And today is one of my favourite little artefacts that we like to talk about in our D-Day Paratrooper presentation, one of our favourite pieces of medical equipment, and it is this, and it's the little tube there of Benzedrine Sulphate tablets. Now, if you're unaware of what Benzedrine Sulphate is, well, let me give you its more modern or street name. It's speed. It's Class A crystal meth. It is a Class A amphetamine under current UK law, which is why we have the tube but nothing in it. Now, what you'd use Benzedrine for is it's a stimulant. It's there, it's in your pack to keep you awake, to lower your appetite, to give you that kind of hyper buzz that really you need to be a British fighting man, an American fighting man, a Russian fighting man, and even a German fighting man. Everybody gets issued these in some form. There are 80 million of them consumed by the Allied forces over the course of the wartime period. Now, an interesting thing with regards to these, a few kind of amusing details for you, is first of all at the Battle of El Alamein in 1942, the big battle in the desert where we finally started to turn the tide against the Nazis and we defeated Rommel. It was the battle that Churchill famously said is not the end, it's not even the beginning of the end, but it is in fact the end of the beginning, that battle. Now that starts with an enormous great tank charge across the desert that was made possible by the use of Benzedrine. Montgomery actually issued in his orders an increase in the dosage of Benzedrine for the men to 4 tablets. Now if you look at the directions on the back there, it says take 1 when sleepy, take 2 if extremely fatigued, and we're going up to 4, double the top recommended dose. In fact, the upward dose of this is do not take more than 6 tablets in a week, not 4 in a sitting. Now, the Germans have their own version of this called Pervitin, and you'll see a lot of things on the internet about Nazi super soldiers that are all on crystal meth. That is Pervitin. It does the same thing. The Germans issued it to a lot of their pilots because it was in their survival kits. Because if you crash in the sea in, say, something like the Battle of Britain, then if you're bobbing around waiting for rescue, one of the last things you want to do is fall asleep, because if you fall asleep, you are going to drown. So they would have Pervitin laced chocolate. Now, we suspect, we can't prove, but we suspect that German pilots are a lot like British pilots, a lot like American pilots. They're going to hand out chocolate to children. God knows what the Hitler Youth would have turned into under the effects of Pervitin. And one of my last little touches that I always like about showing this is we tend to present to a lot of people that grew up the post-war period in the 60s, the sort of people that always poked fun at their parents and called them square because they just didn't get the hippie drug scene. Well, it's a Class A methamphetamine that was issued by the government to your dad. Is there anything that carries less street cred with it? Have a good day.